kindergartners. It's really dark in here, so you can't see me very well right now, but all those letter pictures that we have in our classroom, you guys are going to start making those. And a little bit after Christmas, you're actually going to have a book with all the letter pictures that you have created from our stories that come from the alphabet. So today we're going to start with the first person from the story, which is the Pompous Prince. So I'm going to go through the process of making the picture. You can make it along with me. Now, I might go a little faster than you sometimes. If I do, you can pause the video and catch up to me and then start where once we're back together. Now, the thing is here too, if you're getting done a lot faster than me, maybe slow down and take your time a little bit. Remember, we want to have this be a really nice book with all your pictures in it. So take your time coloring it. If you're getting done before me by a lot, then maybe that's a clue to slow down a little bit. So just check it, do the best you can, and we're going to start the Pompous Prince now. Okay, my friends, I have just a plain blank sheet of paper and a regular old box of crayons, just like you. I like to use orange for the Pompous Prince because it seems like, you know, kind of a proud and pompous color, sort of like the prince was. The first thing that we do when we're making a picture is we want to get oriented. We want to get used to the shape of the paper. So I start by making a border all around it. And every time we do a letter picture, we're going to make a border all around it. It kind of helps our brains to get settled on the shape of the paper. So you can see I'm not drawing a line around the outside or doing some quick scribbles. I'm kind of taking my time going around here and it's almost going to make it be like a frame for our picture. Makes the person in the picture not seem quite so lost in the picture. So I'm going to just keep taking my time going around the edge of the picture, and you can take your time too. Now I have several sheets of paper here stacked up. That's why it looks like it may not go all the way to the edge. And when you do it, another thing that's going to help is you can kind of get over here to the corner. And then when I start to come down on the corner, I'm going to round the corner a little bit so that I don't have, you know, like a rectangle on here. I want to have it be this kind of nice curvy shape. So I'm going to pause my video and finish my border. It's going to take me a while. You can see I've been going here for a while, and my border is still only about halfway done, maybe not even all the way to halfway done. So here I go, I'm continuing on. Now, sometimes in the classroom, you can keep coloring your border while I'm talking about this. When we're talking about our letters and our numbers, I've mentioned the shapes that we use to make the letters and numbers. So the next thing we're going to do after our border is we're going to be drawing the shapes. So, of course, we don't have the shapes with us, right? I don't have my shapes here at my house. Do you have your shapes at your house? Probably not. So what we're going to do is imagine those shapes. Do you remember our 4 shapes? We have a big line and a little line, and we have a big curve and a little curve. And so for the Pompous Prince, what we're going to need is our big line, first of all, and our little curve. So we're not going to actually have them to color, are we? Instead, we're going to imagine them in our mind. So here we go. Are you taking your time and making it look nice? Not just scribbling. Some kids, they just kind of scribble around the edge, but that doesn't actually make for a very nice picture. Now I'm going to need to slide my paper up here a little bit so that you can see I'm just about done. So I'm going to keep coming down here, and I'm going to, round my corner a little bit. There we go. Get this part of the corner all colored in, and that way I don't have to worry about it later on. And then here we go. All right, I'm almost there. I'm gonna get this part here. Do you see I just have this one piece over here left that I need to finish. Gonna get that all nice. And now I have my border that kind of goes as the frame for my picture. I'm going to look for a few areas where it's sort of uneven. Do you see right here? It looks like I have a little spot that's not colored all the way, so I'm going to color that. Here I've got kind of a wide bump, so I'm going to fill that in. All right, and now that I've done this, my brain has kind of gotten adjusted to where this is. Now, in the classroom, when we make our P, we start right up in the corner, right? But our prince has a head. We're going to need some space for his head, so I'm not going to start right up here. I'm going to go down some. And I'm going to start my big line kind of about right here. So here's the beginning of my big line, and I'm going to make it pretty dark because I'm going to make a picture of the pompous prince, but I want my P to really be obvious with my pompous prince. So here it is. I'm making it nice and dark all the way down here. All right. There we go. And there's my big line. Now, unfortunately, you can't see my whole paper all at once. But there it is. And now I'm going to do my little curve. So right about here is the middle of my big line. You go ahead and take your finger and put it right about at the middle of your big line. And that's where our little curve is going to go to. So I'm going to start my curve out here like this. And I'm going to keep it going around. I'm not going to make it very wide to start with, because then if I need to adjust my curve a little bit, I can do that. So there's my little curve. And now I'm going to kind of go back and even it out some, make it be kind of about the same thickness all the way around, and take some time making it nice and neat, because I want to have some nice pictures here. So here is the bottom of my little, oh, I keep saying big curve, my little curve. There we go. And then I want to get this part here to be kind of thick like the other part, so I'm going to thicken it up a little bit. All right, so there you can see the beginnings of that pompous prince with his chest all poofed out there, can't you? So the next thing I'm going to work on is his feet, right? Everybody needs some feet. Well, I'm going to say living in the castle. You know, he's the fancy prince, so maybe he has fancy shoes that are purple fancy shoes. So here we go. I'm going to take some purple and give him some fancy shoes right here. You can choose different colors. Sometimes you have to use my color. We're going to have a story about a red hen and a lavender lady, and then you have to choose certain colors, but usually you can choose your own colors. So there is the shoe. Now I'm going to work on his head a little bit, and I'm going to choose several colors. I'm going to use a kind of brownish color and this color called apricot. And I'm going to start with the apricot and just go kind of light. In fact, so light you may hardly be able to see it. Can you see there's just a little bit of color right there of apricot? Just enough for me to kind of see I've got a round shape there. And then I'm going to get a bright yellow one because he's a prince. He's not a king, so he doesn't get a great big fancy crown. But, ooh, sorry, took you for a little wild ride there, didn't I? Okay, so I'm going to use my yellow now and press pretty firmly. Can you see that yellow showing up there? Now he's got a little bit of a crown. Then I'm going to take my brown and color in his face here some. I have really light colored skin like that apricot color, but most people don't. Most people around the world have darker skin than that. So I'm going to give him a little bit darker skin. And then I like to mix my colors sometimes, like I mixed apricot and the brown for his skin. I'm going to mix for his hair a little bit too. I'm going to put just a little bit of brown here. And then I'm going to actually get out my black and add some black to his hair. Oh, that's blue. Whoops, I don't want that one. Hang on, where's my black? Even teachers have to look for things and figure them out sometimes. Here's my black. My black got broken, so I just use it short like this. All right, here I go. There, see, there's the top of his head sticking up above his crown. And here's the rest of his hair down below the crown. Now, again, boys and girls, remember, your prince does not have to look exactly like mine. It might turn out a little bit different. You might have different colored skin. You might have different colored hair. You may have made your prince a different color. That's okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to do, because this looks like some kind of weird arm, and instead I want that to be his chest, all pooched out. So I'm using that same orange, and remember I made the P part kind of dark? I can do that by going back and forth over the color a lot, or by pressing a little harder. And now I'm going to go a lot lighter and put it inside this P here, so that this looks like his shirt and his proud, pompous chest, all poofed out like that. All right, guys. Now, if you want to me, his legs look a little bit skinny. So I add in just a little bit more color right here in front, real light, to be the rest of his legs. And there you go. Yours might look different than mine. That's okay. The last thing to do, and this is a part that requires a lot of patience, I think it's really important to color in the background, because when you look at somebody out in the world, they don't just appear there floating on white. You see how it looks like he's kind of floating? So I'm going to go ahead and color in the background behind him. It doesn't need to be very dark. It can be pretty light colored. But that way he's kind of not just floating out there. Now, sometimes people like to color in all kinds of fancy things. They might make him be in a room with a fancy throne, or I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make him have kind of be near some mountains that he's going to be climbing on later on his quest. So I'm going to get a little bit of this colored in over here, around behind him, and then I'm going to put some green grass under his feet and some mountains in the distance in front of him. So I'm going to keep my blue out because I'll be coloring more blue over here. But I'm going to go ahead and get some green here, go down to his feet, and I'm going to put some green down here under his feet. So it's like he's standing on the ground. This part you don't have to do. If you just feel absolutely worn out, that's okay. But it's nice if you can kind of finish the picture off. If you've made your pompous prince, you don't have to get the whole background done. If we were in the classroom, we would definitely have to finish the whole background. But we're not. So you can stop there if you feel really tired out. But if you can go a little farther, color in some background here. And then, like I said, I'm going to get him going to some mountains far away over here. So I'm going to kind of color my green up to some mountains that he's heading off to. So let's see. There we are. There are mountains. It's kind of a hill, right? That's all right. I might look for, maybe I'll take this other purpley kind of color, because sometimes we think of mountains seeming kind of purplish off in the distance and light colored. There we go. That feels like a little more mountain. And you know, I said I like to mix colors, so I'm going to blend some of this purple down in with the green. All right, then I'm going to pick up my blue. There it is. And I'm going to finish up down here. So these parts that aren't green, that aren't the prince's purple shoes or his orange pants. And you know what? When I add in the blue, now it's a lot easier to see his orange pants. It's easier to see that the green is over there. And I'm just going to finish coloring all the rest of my background, like so. And I could speed this video up, but I'm kind of on purpose gonna leave it regular speed so that you know how long it really takes me. You know, sometimes we feel like, well, the teacher gets done so fast. And I'll tell you, I've made this P picture more than 10 times, and it still is taking me about this long. So if it takes you guys longer than it takes me, that's fine. You haven't had as much practice as I have making this P picture. I've done it over and over and over with my kindergarten classes. There we go. I'm going to just make it a little more solid back over here. And there is my prince. All right, my friends, there you go. That's your work for Friday. You do not have to bring this into school. Sometime I'm going to ask you to take a picture so I can see them, but you're going to keep these at home, and on Fridays, you're going to keep working on your alphabet pictures. And then once we finish our whole alphabet, you'll be able to make a lovely book with all of the people from the stories that we're doing at school.